Julie, this is a real treat. I have to say that your award-winning leadership style and perspective on people and on culture have inspired me for several years here at Microsoft. So I was really looking forward to our chat today. I think a lot of people look at their career and maybe they don't realize the control that they truly have.
Mhm.
And what I'd love to hear from you is if you could give advice to someone, regardless of their stage of career, on how they can best take control of their trajectory, what would you tell them to focus on? What practical application could they apply?
Yeah, so it's so nice to be here, Carson. So thank you for the invitation. The number one thing that I always tell people when we're talking about their career and what I found where people have been most successful is when they focus on what they're passionate about. And it's, goes without saying, people do best at things that they get energy from, that they get passion from, and that they're naturally good at. And that's the one thing that I think is oftentimes overlooked is we come from this old school of what are your strengths and your weaknesses and how are you developing your weaknesses, where really from my perspective, it's all about strengths and passion. And an example that I like to use is going back to elementary school. If you were really good at kickball and you were terrible at baseball, when you went out for recess, you wanted to play kickball. And as a result, you got better at it and you enjoyed it. And you didn't get so good at baseball. And so it really comes down to just innately, what do you really drive energy and passion from? Because if you focus on those things, you're going to get better at it. And so that's probably the number one thing is really, truly finding your passion. And oftentimes people don't even know what that is. They're like, well, I don't know what my next role is going to be. I don't know what I should do. And that's where I also talk about like, okay, well, let's get a homework assignment. And for the next 30 days, when you're driving home from work, when you're, shutting down the video camera for the day, and you think, wow, that was really a great day, write down and be mindful of why was that a great day? What made that a great day? Did you coach someone? Did you create a creative, pivot table? Did you close a deal? Did you solve a problem? And then if you can go back and see, wow, these are when I have great days. This is what I get passion from. This is what I'm excited about. And if you can string those days together, then you're truly going to have a career that's going to help you, continue to grow and develop and get better and better. And so I would say that's the first thing. And then if I can add one more thing, it's assume the position for what you want to do. That's the other piece is that oftentimes, people don't get a role because they don't have the experience. And so they feel like they're stuck. And so most common for that is like people that get in the conundrum of I want to be a manager, but I don't have manager experience. And so I'll just say, assume the position as a manager, be the leader on the team, bring business insight, and really, step up and be that leader. And then you have the experience to be that leader. Or just find an opportunity to get the experience that you want. I had someone in sales that wanted to be a recruiter. And so I'm like, okay, great. You're now in charge of doing all the interviewing on our team. And so you can get that experience. And so he went to apply for a recruiting job and they're like, wait a minute, you're a salesperson. They're like, no, on my team, I am the interviewer and I make interview decisions. And so I can guarantee you that any job that you have, you can find a way to assume the position around an area that you have passion around.
I love that. I mean, you've made it simple because I think on paper, if I go out and I look for what I think might be a dream job, it's not always realistic to go out and just find something that's tailor-made for you. And frankly, there's been a lot of times where I think people, even in a job search, they'll go out and look for a role and, they pin their hopes to it, right? And when they don't get it, their hopes are dashed and they're like, well, I can't follow my dreams. Mm-hmm. I think that the best way to approach it personally is how do you infuse what you're passionate about into what you do? And it can take you beyond your wildest dreams. You really double down on, finding those passionate things you're passionate about. What are your unique superpowers? And then how can you not only master those, so develop a muscle, but then replicate it and then invest in other people? We do a really good job here at Microsoft of focusing on impact and outcomes that we're having. And that can be not only with the customer organizations that we work with, but our colleagues and our teams and things of that stature. So if you're really good at something, challenge yourself to think about how could you help other people develop that strength. Those are the types of things that can help you assume the position. Because every meaningful role that I've ever been pulled into in my entire career has been because of a relationship or because of something that I was doing that I was noticed for. And your next role might not even exist today. So just continue to plant those seeds and try to figure out ways that you can parlay your passions into meaningful relationships and outcomes for others. And I think that really can put you on the track that you want to be on.
Yep, I agree. And I think another way that you do that is you're really deliberate about what your personal brand is. What do I want to be known for? What am I known for today? How am I aligning my values, my passions, and also my career aspirations into what that brand is that I've developed? And so I spend a lot of time talking about brand and the deliberateness, if that is a word, of creating your brand and living your brand and being mindful of, am I living up to that expectation? Am I living that brand? Because you can also impact your brand intentionally and unintentionally.